the USA is also playing in the Challengers Cup. What most people don't actually realize that US is also in the Challengers Cup. They didn't perform really well in the core tournament, so they didn't have automatic qualification. So, but then the thing is, the teams that are in the Challenger Cup are better than USA. They're teams Kenya, Spain, the teams which are better than the USA, and there's a chance that the USA might be knocked out, like Canada was knocked out.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that the reduction of number of teams doesn't mean the reduction of legs, and that's what most people don't understand.
Yeah, cutting down the teams, they're cutting it for cost and to be able to accommodate availability of these games being played all in the same weekend. Again, you don't want to have to be playing like a 4-day weekend of playing rugby. It becomes more expensive. I think it's an expense factor. And again, you might realize rugby is the only sport that actually matches 1-to-1 men's and women's.
Even if they say that they are, because the most constant rumor is that even if they cut the series, they're still going to be channeling money in the challengers, which doesn't make sense to me because, as Konya said, the math in your head is right, the math in the head is quite different. Because why are you saying that you're cutting costs and then that same money you're still giving the teams that are going to be playing in the lower division?
Konye, tell us, is it true that LA 7's and the US altogether might be dropped from the from the 7 circuit, or are these just rumors? Konye.
Well, again, first off, I think I want to echo the point of people going to the stadium. Again, this is one time that you get a chance to watch the girls and the men's play on the same field. And as might have been mentioned, there's going to be 2 pitches. So I think first day we're playing on pitch 2. And on the qualification, after qualifying, the semis and the finals are going to be played in the main pitch. Other thing I want to tell people that all our games are done early. So again, they're starting at midday. That's at Ukilewa sana Friday.
Wow, midday?
Yeah.
Ukilewa sana Friday. Games inaanza saa 5. Lazima tu uko umeamka by saa 5 uende study. And the same thing on Sunday. The games are starting a little later, like about 11 o'clock. So you don't have an excuse not to show up to the stadium. And the tickets are fairly affordable. Just show up, let's go study, let's make some memories out there in the stadium. And I'm actually trying to see if we can have OneMicShow on the road up there in the stadium.
Yes, that's a challenge, yes.
What?
Yeah,
He removed that one. Konye umetupa hiyo kitu, eh?
Amemwaga mtama. Put us on the spot.
So I encourage everybody to show up at the stadium. Again, remember, the thing that brought you to LA, or if you come to LA, I know you want to go party and everything, but remember what brought everybody there. The players. Go cheer them. Make your presence known in the stand, and then after that, you can go celebrate as much as you want. We'll talk about that later.
So there's a correction over here.
Yeah.
Benifiongo says 32 teams will be playing in LA for 2 days. There's a correction. Kickoff is at 10 a.m., but Kenya is playing around noon.
So kickoff is at 10 a.m., but Kenya is playing around noon.
Yes.
And if you want to get the full you want to make sure you're there in the stadium before by 11 a.m.
By 11:30.
By 11 a.m. by 11 you want to be sure.
You kick out.
If you need to go buy food or whatever,
walk around,
you can
go
do
to
all
the
that.
Kenya corner, you uingie vizuri.
So okay, so that's the stadium part. What about LA 7's and the US all together being dropped from the 7th side? Rumor, I'm a true story.
Well, again, honestly, to be honest, I think that's going to be a rumor because considering LA is going to be hosting the Olympics in 2028, I think they're going to fight. They're going to fight for it. They're going to fight to have this series played sometime in the summertime because again, Olympics is a summer sport, so there's a high chance that this series is going to stay in LA. Again, it might be pushed to the outskirts of LA because again, downtown, the LA area is a little crowded, but I think it's going to stay.
Okay.
But then I think to add on to that, more why the rumor came out. Why the rumor came out is because when they say that they're going to reduce the number of teams that are playing into the core tournament, the USA is also playing in the Challengers Cup. What most people don't actually realize that US is also in the Challengers Cup. They didn't perform really well in the core tournament, so they didn't have automatic qualification. So, but then the thing is, the teams that are in the Challenger Cup are better than USA. They're teams Kenya, Spain. They're teams which are better than the USA, and there's a chance that the USA might be knocked out, like Canada was knocked out.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that the reduction of number of teams doesn't mean the reduction of legs, and that's what most people don't understand.
Yeah.
The legs are still going to be there because the legs are counted to accommodate the number of tournaments to allow you to accumulate the because it's a league format. You're supposed to go through a circuit of a leg, and with that circuit of a leg, you collect points, and they tell you the points, and they decide who's going to be the champion, the runners-up, and up to the teams that are being relegated. So, just because the USA might be relegated, it doesn't mean that the tournament is being scrapped. So there's that bit of clarity that needs to be communicated to people so that they can understand. Many people might push that narrative that this might be the last tournament in LA so that they can attract people to go to LA for other motives or whatever it is. But let's be realistic on how we communicate certain things. We might play in the Challengers Cup. We might not play in the main series cup. It doesn't mean that the tournament is going away, because the tournament has a certain number of legs, and those number of legs are supposed to be able to give us a league table for accumulation of points.
Okay, interesting. So now, now just going back to Konya again, and Mika, thank you so much for that explanation, because I think there was a lot of loose talk on social media, and that's why you have to get to a forum where there's accountability to get the real information. Now, Konya, maybe talk to us about that possibility of teams being reduced, because I know it used to be 16 teams, and then it was reduced down to 12 teams, and that's when Kenya got relegated because it got tougher. And then now there's talk, again, I don't know if this is real or if it's also talk, that they want to reduce it to 8 teams. And if that's the case, why would they want to reduce it to 8 teams? How would it benefit the tournament? And what exactly would this mean now that it's more difficult to qualify? We know, of course, what it would mean for the team. It's much more difficult to qualify. But what would it mean for the fans if it's fewer teams that are playing in the core tournament? Does it mean fewer people going out to LA or to all these other cities where rugby is being played, Dubai and Cape Town and all that? Konye?
Yeah. So again, it's challenging times for sports, unfortunately. All this comes with sponsorships, and everything else that comes along. It takes a lot of money to run these programs, and during these tournaments, I get to talk to some of the officials and some of the higher ups in world rugby. And the main concern that they usually have is that they've been in debt, like they've not made their money back from some of the tournaments. The expense rate that the teams, the world rugby goes through is quite a bit. Again, they have to cater for this, the players' flights, the players' accommodation, the players' meals, and everything, and the support staff that they have to have in these various tournaments. So when they cut out a leg, it's either most likely they did not make any funds from it, or they're not making enough money from it. And as many might know or might not know, how 7's rugby came off. 7's rugby came as an offshoot of 15's. Majority of rugby, 15's is what brings world rugby money. And historically, 15's used to support, 7's. So until the toddler started crawling and started running, and now it's being told, the toddler needs to be told that it's an adult. Now they can move out of the big papa's house and they start making their own money. So the pockets get tighter and you have to start cutting budgets. So as you said, there previously were 16 teams, but again, the men's team was separate. The men's teams were playing separately than the women's teams. They were in separate leagues. Up until 3 years ago, that's when everything was integrated, and they had to cut down the teams, because just try and imagine if you have 16 men's teams and 16 women's teams in the same weekend, that's a lot of teams to play rugby in one weekend.
Yeah.
So again, that's why you need like 2 fields or whatever, or 3 fields, and that becomes a little cumbersome and more expensive. So cutting down the teams, they're cutting it for cost and to be able to accommodate availability of these games being played all in the same weekend. Again, you don't want to have to be playing like a 4-day weekend of playing rugby. It becomes more expensive. I think it's an expense factor. And again, you might realize rugby is the only sport that actually matches 1-to-1 men's and women's. Unlike soccer, every world soccer women playing different leagues and men playing different leagues. They don't all play in the same tournament. So rugby is, it's doing it's more of it started off as a major experiment, and again, it came to stay, and it's here to stay. So there's really nothing much we can do. We just have to fight to be in the top spots so that we can be able to get the time of play that we need.
So if it gets cut to 8, and let's say for one reason or another, Kenya does not qualify. Let's just say, for example, for the men's and the women's, meaning there's no Kenyan team playing in the core. Doesn't that mean that there's fewer people going out to the stadiums to watch the games, because Kenyans are usually a big number? So I'm trying to understand where the money part comes in, because my thinking is when you have more countries, you get more people coming in. Or is there something that I'm missing?
That is true. And the math is correct in your head. But I don't know whether it is correct in the people who make these decisions.
Yes.
Because again, even if you're trying to cut costs and you're decreasing the number of teams, so basically you're decreasing the number of people that are going to be coming to watch some of these games. But again, the background talk is that they're going to have the top elite teams, allegedly the top 8 teams, and then there's going to be another bracket where they're going to have another, I think, 6 or 8 teams again in another tier and another challenger series. So I don't know how they're going to break it down. Unfortunately, World Rugby has not released a statement. The statement official statement has not been released by World Rugby, except again, there have been some unions, especially in South America, that have voiced the concern and have shared some of the information that we're relying on. But official word is yet to be said as to what is going to happen. There has been talks that there possibly might be cut locations of the play. Again, this is yet to be decided.
Okay. All right.
And then to a brief add on what Konya is saying is that remember, this will be the second cut that is happening if there is going to be a cut. Right? Before the core series, before this relegation that came in, the core series was longer than how it was right now. So this will be another second cut, and it's going to be like in 2-3 years time. Relegation and promotion was not there 3 years ago. It's not there, so it's a new thing that has just come in. So this is going to be another cut that is coming in, and we also have to look at it and see that even if they say that they are, because the most constant rumor is that even if they cut the series, they're still going to be channeling money in the challengers, which doesn't make sense to me, because as Konya said, the math in your head is right, the math in the head is quite different, because why are you saying that you're cutting costs and then that same money you're still giving the teams that are going to be playing in the lower division? And remember, the first relegation, the first cutting of the tournament, the teams in the tournament that happened has led to some teams not being seen. Teams like Tonga were constant teams that we're seeing in the 7th circuit.
Yes,
They've
correct,
never made it
yes.
back.
They've never made it back. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't see such teams anymore. So it makes it makes you think like other sports are increasing numbers. Soccer is increasing the number of teams in the World Cup, right? We find Olympics increasing the number of sports and teams into the Olympics. We find like other tournaments increasing numbers, whereas rugby cutting numbers. So as Konya said, these rumors are there. There might be discussions that are happening, but how does it help the growth of the 7's game? And at a moment right now whereby in the whole rugby world, 7's and 15's, the growth of rugby has somehow stunted. If we look at leagues in countries like England and France, we're seeing teams that used to pay top dollar, paying good money, are not doing that well financially. So we have to look at things and see, as in, there's a lot of information we're getting, a lot of rumors that are coming. World Rugby haven't given us everything. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So there's some truth to this information that is being shared out. But also, let's not just panic and start sharing out messages of panic out there because we've had rumors. Yes, there's rumors that are coming out, people are talking about it. But until World Rugby says this and explains it, let's wait and see. But as Ali, what you're saying, reduction of number of teams doesn't help the growth of rugby in any way.
Yeah.